Afghanistan is one of the poorest countries in the world. There is a harsh, almost mystical beauty to the land. Since the fall of the Taliban 4 years ago, international donor agencies have wasted billions of dollars on foreign consultants, on developing urban infrastructure, on training people from governments and universities. But the quality of life of the very poor in the rural areas in Afghanistan remains as dismal and desperate as ever. Development aid has been a disaster because it's been donor-driven from the top, and there has been no attempt to look for rural, community-based initiatives from below. Instead of developing the capacity and competence of the poor people from within, it has encouraged dependency on human, technical, and financial resources from outside. The concentration has been on the development of urban areas at the expense of rural areas. In a fundamental departure from the disastrous, patronizing way development assistance is handed down to the poor people of Afghanistan, in 2004, Norwegian Church Aid, along with their indigenous Afghan partners, initiated an approach with a difference. In the first renewable energy project of its kind, to solar electrify remote villages in the country. Poor, inaccessible rural communities were taken into confidence and made an indivisible part of the decision-making process. The idea was to get the agreement of the whole community to first decide on how much they would pay for the use of the solar units.
اولی که من امروز انجینیر صاحب این تماس گرفتم، اینا گفته که در بدل هر لامپی که روشن میشه در خانه ماهانه مبلغ 20 افغانی هم راست انجینیر صاحب ماهانه مبلغ 20 افغانی پرداخت میشه. هر ماهی در بدل هر لامپی که روشن میشه در خانه مبلغ 20 افغانی بخش زیاد پرداخت میشه.
Second, to select very poor, semi-literate men and women rooted in their village with a strong commitment to develop their own community, who were trusted and who had no chance to get a government job, to be trained as barefoot solar engineers. Only after the community was prepared, the technology was introduced.
ترانسفرمردی چیگه فقط برز سایسان بر وایر بر سندن وره لاده اونو بنامه 20 آتش لاده.
Afghan NGOs selected 5 remote rural communities from Uruzgan, Daikundi, Faryab, Badakhshan and Bamiyan, representing different ethnic groups: Pashtuns, Tajiks, Uzbeks and Hazaras.
اسمم عبد الحميد روزقان ولاد.
اسمم مشير محمد روزقان ولاد.
البهار ولاد على قل ولايات فاریاب.
اسمم علاء الدين ولاد حاج لال محمد باشنده ولایت فاریاب.
اسم من گلزمان ولایت دایکندی.
نام من محمد جان است از ولایت دایکندی.
این جانب محمد اسحاق فرزند محمد حسین از ولایت بامیان.
اسم من محمد عیسی مربوطی ولایت بامیان.
این جانب دوست محمد ولد نور محمد از ولسوالی کشمی ولایت بدخشان.
اسم من گلغتای از ولسوالی کشمی بدخشان.
They had never been outside their province, but for 6 months, from February to July 2005, 7 men and 3 women left their families for India to be trained at the Barefoot College, Dulonia, Rajasthan. What the exposure in the Barefoot College gave them was confidence in their own capacity
چهار گروه روشن میکنه 16 ولت 54 امپیر
to manage, control, and own the most sophisticated of technologies and demonstrate. That this is possible at the village level without any technical help from outside.
Popping connector, topping connector. No problem.
They knew no Indian language, but absence of language was not a problem to learn about solar electrification.
48 volt system. One panel, two panel, three, four. Four series connection. Minus to plus. Series connection. With parallel plus to plus minus to minus.
Power supply 12 volt. This inverter 12 volt. Output ये वोल्ट. इधर पुख्ता मालूम उधर बाद में कनेक्शन ये.
Without the written word or any verbal communication, fabricating charge controllers was not a problem. Participating in the other activities of the Barefoot College was not a problem.
Namaste. Ram. ठीक है. अच्छा है.
Food was not a problem. But they said they now knew what hell was like because summer in Rajasthan was too much for them. More than just being trained as barefoot solar engineers, they learnt about how to live together in spite of coming from different ethnic backgrounds. They learnt about the importance of collecting rainwater from the roofs of schools into underground tanks so that no rainwater or snow was wasted. They learnt, along with other rural women, how to fabricate a solar cooker. After 6 months of practical training, they came back to their villages. Within 20 days of their arrival home, the solar units arrived in their villages. They set up the rural electronic workshop first, so that if any repair were needed, they could do it on the spot. The most dangerous and most challenging villages were deliberately identified. If it could work in these villages, it could be replicated everywhere. In the National Solidarity Program of the government, the choice of technology is left to the Shuras. Engineers come from outside the village to install the diesel generating sets and repair solar units. But the barefoot approach is radically different. It is to train the poor to carry out all the repairs themselves. Within 2 weeks of the panels arriving in the villages, all the houses were electrified. the sheer amazement of the politicians, the administrators, the leaders of their communities, they solar electrified each house in their village. It was agreed that the contribution from the community would pay for the salaries of the barefoot solar engineers. 2 weeks after the panels arrived in the villagers could turn on the light for the first time. What has been the impact? How has solar light changed the lives of the people? It has increased income-generating activities like weaving carpets and kilns and other traditional handicraft skills.
خاطر که بچه‌ها قالین می‌بافد درسش می‌خوانه دیگه کارها اگر پیدا شه از برق استفاده می‌کنه.
هر کار ماشین دازی موشه قالین بافی موشه سنگ ریشی موشه هر کار انجام میشه.
Especially among women, bound to remain in their houses because of cultural restrictions. It has improved the quality of life, creating space for a whole new world of opportunities.
اسم معصومه هستم. خریه ما کچه سنگ هستم. ولسوالی ولخان ولایت دایکنده. دیگه روشنیش بسیار خرابه. دود میدیه. مصرفش هم زیاده. این مصرفش از این مصرفش کمتره ما او بهتر مسوزه. دود نداره. پاک هسته. یه از یه بهتره دیگه از همش وجدی معرفی نداره خودش میدن بهتر. یه بهتره از دیگه باز برق بهتره.
Children that work during the day in the fields can now study at night.
پشتی ترک تاجکان پرورده انگلیسانیم گلدستاین بستانیم افغانستان سازم معی دوستان زی این پس بغرم دشمنان بر جان آن نزدکه ها جمعور نسل جهان افغانستان
In all the 5 regions, the solar lights became a powerful attraction, with surrounding villages eager to be part of this miracle. In a quiet way, 3 of the 5 communities created history by choosing 2 couples, husband and wife, and 1 mother and son, thus enabling 3 women to be trained as solar engineers. Never before in the history of the country have semi-literate women from remote villages ever been selected by the Shura for training, let alone to be solar engineers. A woman solar engineer could now gain access into households with only women present for repair and maintenance of the solar light.
می باشم که من مدت 6 ماه در بیرفورد کالج تولونیا درس خواندم و بعد دوباره موفقانه بعد از 6 ماه به وطن بازگشتم و همه چیز آموختم به صورت منظم درست و بعد از رسیدن سامانه های ما که این تقریبا 1 ماه میشه ما به تعداد 21 فامیل برای از اینا برق دادیم و رسانیدیم موفقانه که همین دوستای ما که دوباره آمدن از دیدن کردن که ما همه چیز ما منظم و صحیح بود.
آدمین در قریه ها و 10 دانه لانتین در اینجا آمدیم در 30 خانه توزیع کردیم اینا را. شاید که اینا از پیش ما خوش باشد در خانهشان روشن شده اینا خوش هستن از ما و دیگه قومای ما چی میکنه که خواهش میکنه و برق بازم زیاد بده دوباره برق بده خانه باقی ماندگی هم روشن شود ما از پیش اونا بسیار خوش هستیم.
Never in known memory, in Afghanistan, have the men and women sat together in public meetings. In Daikundi, when Gul Zaman went and sat with the men at the Shura meeting, she demonstrated her courage to change a custom and tradition as old as time. She said to the Shuras, she was first an engineer and then a woman.
ترنگا یاد نداشتم دیگه بودیدم از کار غریبی خانه خود دیگه هم وضعیت زندگی مسیح نبود. بعد از اینکه ما که می کار یاد گرفتیم از خدا امید داریم که شاید زندگی ما خوبتر شود دیگه مردم شاید پیشرفته تر شود می قریه ما خوب شود مردم راحت تر شود این فکر را داریم.
The life of the solar panel is 25 years. The batteries have to be changed every 5 years. Families used to spend about 200 Afghani per lamp per month buying kerosene after walking 10 kilometers only for lighting.
تیل کم مصرف داره ای برق کم مصرف درست
تیل اگه در ما یک گلن میکنیم دیگه کم مصرف میشه
برق وقت زیاد
تیل که بسیار کم مصرف
چه کم مصرف
در ماه 200 روپیه که اینه بسیار میشه خود
With solar light, they have agreed to pay 40 Afghani per light per month, thus reducing the expenditure substantially. Each solar unit gives 4 lights. Each light 10 times stronger than a kerosene lamp. 183 families in 5 remote villages now have 5 hours of light every night for 5 years. What did it cost? Was it cost effective? It has been calculated that the whole process from the selection and identification of the barefoot solar engineers, the cost of travel and their training, the cost of purchasing, insuring and transporting all the solar panels and batteries to fully solar electrify 5 complete villages is what the UN and World Bank spends on one consultant sitting in Kabul for 1 year. With all the billions at their disposal, what prevented them from solar electrifying even one village in Afghanistan in these last 4 years? All they have to show are position papers and policies on paper. It is a commentary on their lack of vision and courage. What are the lessons we have learnt? This project is all about ownership and sustainability. That the answer in Afghanistan is to demystify technology and decentralize the control, management and ownership of solar technology right down to the community level. That centralized power systems for remote communities spread over a vast barren land is not a solution. That any semi-literate woman in Afghanistan can solar electrify her own village. That the barefoot approach can be replicated to solar electrify villages all over Afghanistan. It tells about how light created new possibilities, hope, and improved the quality of life of the rural poor living in the mountains of Afghanistan.